I don't know why people are freaking out. They're like, oh, I can't believe that Elon Musk is hosting. And I'm like, the guy that makes the Earth better, and kinda, and he makes like cool things and sends people to Mars.
Previously, Tesla battled the usual media disinformation at home and abroad, while also making an investment into Bitcoin. In May, Elon Musk divided the entertainment industry by accepting to host Saturday Night Live.
Fans, even cast members, are fiercely divided. Shortly after the show announced he was hosting, SNL's A.D. Bryant shared a tweet by Bernie Sanders on her Instagram story. It read in part, "The 50 wealthiest people in America today own more wealth than the bottom half of our people. That is a moral obscenity."
A.D. Bryant wasn't the only critic.
He's got a head as big as his car going on Saturday Night Live.
But what are your initial thoughts on Elon Musk hosting SNL?
This is very weird. The only thing funny about Elon Musk is his face. I don't know what he's going to be giving the sketches. I don't know what he's going to be contributing as an actor and as a talent. But I hope after we have to suffer with him for an hour and a half on a Saturday night that he would redistribute his wealth to us.
Boom.
Give us the money.
But Elon also had his supporters.
But on the flip side, cast members Pete Davidson and Michael Che.
I don't know why people are freaking out. They're like, oh, I can't believe that Elon Musk is hosting. And I'm like, the guy that makes the Earth better, and kinda, and he makes like cool things and sends people to Mars.
So after all the controversy leading up to the show, how did Elon do?
Predictably unpredictable.
I'm actually making history tonight as the first person with Asperger's to host SNL. Or at least the first to admit it.
Elon Musk working a live audience in his own unique way.
And I'm sending people to Mars in a rocket ship. Did you think I was also going to be a chill, normal dude?
By mid-show, he'd moved the market. Dogecoin, Musk's favourite cryptocurrency, had dived 30% before levelling out.
What is Dogecoin? Well, it's the future of currency. It's an unstoppable financial vehicle that's going to take over the world.
Tonight, the head of Tesla and SpaceX took on new roles.
The defense calls Wario.
It was Musk playing the lead.
This is Elon Musk. Who?
Like his personality, his performance divided audiences. But the show is already a ratings win, for the first time streamed to more than 100 countries, live from New York.
What did you think of the performance of Elon Musk Saturday night?
I would say it was a total win. There is nothing to be gained from being a CEO and going on Saturday Night Live. I mean, I don't want to say there's nothing to be gained, but the risk is very high. The downside is very high. So you got to give him props. He went in there and he did it. He kind of gave it his all. And I would say total success. I mean, it wasn't the funniest thing in the world, but it was a total success.
Following his success on Saturday Night Live, Elon held an event to showcase the new Model S Plaid and deliver the first vehicles.
We got to show that an electric car is the best car, hands down. You know, with Plaid, we've managed to break the 2-second barrier, if you will. No production car has ever done 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. I mean, this is like what I call like limit of physics engineering. It's not relative engineering. It's like, what does physics say we can do? Because physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation. So, in addition to it's a crazy performance, it's also got a longer range. Even with the tri-motor high performance, it's got almost a 400-mile range. And in the dual motor configuration, it's got a 412-mile range. So 420, give or take. That joke will never end. And talking about some of the sort of details behind it. So we have an all-new battery pack. And then something we're really proud of is the new carbon-sleeved rotors for the motor. So this is the first time that there's, to the best of our knowledge, there's been a production electric motor that has a carbon overwrapped rotor. I mean, this is really an amazing work of engineering. I mean, you can pick this motor up with your hands, and it can accelerate a 2-ton car to 60 miles an hour in 2 seconds. I mean, that kind of power to weight is insane. Yeah. And then it's also engineered for maximum safety as well. In fact, these are the actual NHTSA probability of injuries numbers. All top 5 cars with the lowest probability of injuries ever tested, all 5 are Teslas. So all new interior. We have this yoke steering wheel, which is a little different, but I think once you try it, you'll think it's great. All right, so we got incredible performance, interior of the future. I think engineering that's practically alien. So, like I said, simultaneously the safest car in the world and the fastest. This is insane. All right, and deliveries begin now. So we're in production. We're going to deliver the first 25 cars now. My hat is off to Tesla Engineering Production Design, the whole group. They put their heart and soul into this. So hope you enjoy it. So let's deliver some cars. All right.
So with Tesla pushing the engineering limits of what's possible, what exactly will the media focus on? Let's see if you can guess. 1. The sub 2 second 0 to 60 time. 2. The unusual yoke steering wheel. 3. Elon's hairstyle. The answer?
Look at that! A yoke. The steering yoke will have a lot of people talking, saying, look, I feel like I'm in the cockpit flying this thing.
I actually wanted to ask about that steering wheel. I just assumed it was a federal requirement for them all to be round. I mean, there must literally be, hey, they have to be this many inches by this many inches and allow you to grip in this many locations.
There are a lot of regulations.
Could we see this come to all car models in the future?
Well, it depends. Do people want it? I mean, look, we are headed towards a future where you will theoretically see vehicles with no steering wheel, because it's not just the yoke, Kelly. It's that 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds.
Yes, fair enough. Although I usually drive with my hands in that kind of lower position, but it's the turn that I can't quite wrap my head around. Maybe I'll get a chance to try it out one day.
And then there was some major news. Or was there?
Stan, I want to talk about the stock in a moment. Let's first talk about this recall, because it sounds like a big deal if it's affecting every car Tesla has ever sold in China. What does this mean?
Tesla is virtually recalling nearly 300,000 cars in China.
Tesla is recalling more than 285,000 vehicles over a potential cruise control problem. According to the company, the system could be activated by mistake, resulting in sudden acceleration. About 250,000 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles made at the Shanghai factory in China are all affected.
Looks like a huge recall issue. 285,000 vehicles built in China seem to be affected. I mean, how much will this cost Tesla? Will service centers be able to cope? Not to mention, Tesla owners will surely be inconvenienced. Or will they?
The company says the problem can be fixed with a software upgrade, either remotely or at a dealership.
While the media was busy renaming over-the-air software updates as recalls to clickbait their viewers, there was a much bigger problem facing the entire auto industry.
Right now, thousands of cars and trucks are sitting at assembly plants, waiting for the electronics that make them work to show up.
It is a critical shortage, and it's highly problematic for this industry. What we're seeing is vehicles that are not getting produced as a result of this.
Nearly every auto manufacturer has been affected by the chip shortage, with plants across the country temporarily shutting down or scaling back production. Based on current rates, the slowdown could cost the industry 1.4 million vehicles in lost production and more than $60 billion by the end of the year.
So why is there a chip shortage all of a sudden?
The crisis is largely a result of huge swings in demand over the last year. When the auto industry shut down and canceled its computer chip orders, fabrication factories throughout the world shifted to meet the skyrocketing demand for personal electronic devices as folks work and learn from home. And when the demand for cars unexpectedly roared back in the fall, the supply couldn't keep up.
So if shortages hitting the entire industry, how will Tesla be affected? Will their production and sales take a hit in the second quarter?
Tesla just coming out with second quarter delivery numbers. I want to get straight over to Phil LeBeau, who's got those numbers. Phil?
Andrew, Tesla delivered 201,250 vehicles in the second quarter. The overwhelming majority of those vehicles were the Models 3 and Models Y. Not surprising, given that Elon Musk talked about some of the part shortages, the chip impact, and raw material cost impact in the second quarter. The Model S and Model X combined, they only delivered a little under 2,000 of those vehicles.
While Tesla somehow navigates through the chip shortage, the bears try to warn us that Tesla could miss on their upcoming Q2 earnings.
So we can get into the numbers, but we think there's a potential miss in the offing when they report earnings after the close.
Give me 10 seconds. Do you buy the stock? And if so, where?
No, we have a sell rating on the stock. We will be shorting on strength tomorrow.
Gordon. All right. Thank you, Gordon Johnson.
With results about to be released, will Tesla miss on the top and bottom line?
Sarah, this is a beat by a pretty wide margin on both the top and the bottom line. On the top line, you've got revenue coming in at $11.96 billion versus the estimate of $11.29 billion. The earnings, the estimate was 98 cents a share. Tesla earning $1.45, non-GAAP, $1.45. That's one reason why the stock is moving higher. The outlook is what's going to get a lot of attention, as well as the automotive gross margins. By the way, automotive gross margins X the environmental credits, 25.8%. So just a smidge lower than where it was in Q1, but still very strong. They say, once again, they plan to grow their capacity on an annual basis by 50%, exceeding that in 2021. That's similar language to what we've heard in the past.
So how was Tesla able to beat expectations and weather the chip shortage? Legacy Auto was struggling with multiple production cuts.
The computer chip shortage is forcing Ford into a new round of production cuts at 8 of its plants, including the ones making its most important vehicle.
How serious of a problem was the chip shortage for Tesla?
The global chip shortage situation remains quite serious. For the rest of this year, our growth rate will be determined by the slowest part in our supply chain, which is there are a wide range of chips that are at various times the slowest part in the supply chain. I mean, it's worth noting that if we had everything else, if we had vast numbers of vehicles and cells, we would not be able to make them. Everything except the chips, we wouldn't be able to make them. The chip supply is fundamentally the governing factor on our output. It is difficult for us to say how long this will last because this is out of our control, essentially. It does seem like it's getting better, but it's hard to predict.
Let's find out what Tesla did different to navigate through these challenges.
In fact, even achieving the output that we did achieve was only due to an immense effort from people within Tesla who were able to substitute alternative chips and then write the firmware in a matter of weeks. It's not just a matter of swapping out a chip. You also have to rewrite the software. So it was an incredibly intense effort of finding new chips, writing new firmware, integrating with the vehicle, and testing in order to maintain production.
We also got an update on some of the teething issues that Tesla were fine-tuning in order to be able to mass produce the 4680 battery cells as announced during their battery day.
There are a number of challenges in transitioning from small-scale production to large volume production. And, not to get too much into the weeds of things, but right now we have a challenge with basically what's called calendaring, or basically squashing the cathode material to a particular height. So it just goes through these rollers and gets squashed, like pizza dough, basically, but very hard pizza dough. And it's denting the calendar rolls. This is not something that happened when the calendar rolls were smaller, but it is happening when the calendar rolls are bigger. So just like, we're like, okay, we weren't expecting that.
Yeah. It's not a science problem. It's an engineering problem. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And the team is 100% focused on resolving these limiting processes as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
On a final note, CNBC ran another anti-Tesla story, but this one was so ridiculous that even the news anchors couldn't help but call it out.
Time now for the Executive Edge and a roundup of today's headlines from the auto industry. We're going to start with Tesla. The electric car company is being sued in a California state court over fees at supercharger stations. A driver is arguing that the company broke its promise to provide free charging for life when it imposed fees on customers who leave a vehicle at a station for too long. Okay, can we back that up for a second? One guy wants to sue them because he says they're breaking their promise for free charging for life because you get a fine if you leave it there, or a fee you have to pay if you leave it there for too long. Talk about a crank.
Yeah.
Like, move your car so somebody else can charge it.
And we forget what goes into
I can't believe we're actually doing a headline on this. Like, what a crank.
So another quarter in the books, with Tesla now starting deliveries of the Model S Plaid and showcasing just how resourceful and innovative they are by the way they handled the semi-chip shortage, switching chips, rewriting firmware and software, doing whatever it takes, while Legacy Auto suffered from multiple factory shutdowns. This was not by accident, but instead, this was a result of a company that reasons by first principles and responds to challenges faster than anyone else. This wasn't the first time Tesla has moved so fast, and it won't be the last. In the next episode, we get to meet the Tesla bot, while tensions build between the Biden administration and Tesla. So if you enjoyed the episode and want to support the channel, Patreon is the best way to do so. And remember, as always, all content is for educational and entertainment purposes and not financial advice. So till next time, I'll catch you guys soon.